I can't hear any music on the thing. So,
Hello, how's everybody?
bank holiday, sunny bank holidays. Wow.
I know. It's a treat. It's a treat. We don't normally get it. I thought after yesterday we were going to get some rain, but we've been treated by sun.
Yeah, amazing.
Absolutely lovely. So yeah, let's.
It's Monday. It's 7 p.m.
You know what that means? Me and you are live.
It's me and you alive.
So if you could take a moment just now, just to click the share button, click the subscribe button, and get your questions in the comments. You'll see on YouTube, they should be to your right, and on Facebook, they should be just below or maybe just to the right. So if you've got any questions, pop them in, because what we can do is we can share them on screen and we can get our guests to be answering your questions. So Ian is now going to introduce our guest.
Before I do, I've got a question for you. So that means if I don't turn up for a live at 7, that means I'm dead.
No.
I think it might be a chance. It might be a chance if I don't turn up, I might be dead. Anyway, so yeah, without further ado, this evening, this guy is a good friend of mine. I met him back in 2012 in Australia. He'll tell you a bit more about that in a second. His name is Chad DEMCHUK. He's a great hair artist. He's out of Dallas in the US of A, and an incredible human being. And I've watched his journey from 2012 to now. Phenomenal hair artist and a great part of the Joico family. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to sharing his story with you and again, know him like on a personal level. I know many of you probably follow him on Instagram anyway. It's on the bottom, running across the screen there, and he's well worth a follow.
Yeah, as is Ian. So
as is me, and you, of course.
Well, yeah, we're all right, aren't we? So
yeah, we're all right.
Just jump on Instagram, give us all a follow. You'll see what we do. Have a look at Chad's work and see what he does. Have a look at his bio, because he's got some really interesting content in there you might want to ask some questions about. But without further ado, here he is.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Chad.
Hello, hello. So I have to admit, I'm super jealous of you both. It is downpouring here in Dallas. We've had 90-degree weather for the past 4 days with a little bit of sprinkling of rain, but the entire next week is rain. So I'm very jealous of you both.
We've got a week of sunshine, mate. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll take it.
It's beautiful out there. It is. I'm looking out my window. It's beautiful. I've been out all day. It's been like amazing anyway. So it's been great outside, sitting in the garden. Yeah, it's been great. Oh, by the way, I booked my wedding. I booked my wedding today as well for next July.
So congrats.
We missed it. We were supposed to get married in May. We just booked it today. Going to be the 24th of July next year. That's it. So I'm free man for another year. Yay!
She must not be around to hear you say
that. She's outside. She's out. She's got delivering something. So that's good. Yeah, lucky. So Chad, I just introduce people and say about their story. So let's go back to 2012 when we first met. We met in Australia, and just tell me why you were there, who you were with, how it came about, and the journey from there, really.
Sure. So I've been a Joico educator. I started in our very introductory levels of education, and I worked my way up. I started in 2003, and then flash forward to 2012, I had this amazing opportunity to go to Australia with Joico. And part of the reason was one of my really good friends, Kim Bonadio, she was also a guest artist at the time, and she does a ton of international travel for the company. Like literally, her nickname was Queen of the Asians because she was there like twice a month. Like they love her there. She's spectacular. So she had been trying to work me into the market somehow. So finally, there was enough growth and expanse within the company that they needed to expand their international team. So at the time, there was an amazing concept called Salon Ideas, which was super salon-friendly techniques for hair cutting and hair color, very friendly for anybody to take and break down the next day. And so they wanted to start to bring that into the Americas because it was more of just a European thing, branching out into the Pacific Rim. So I was brought in as a potential candidate, so I got to learn the techniques, the trends, and that's where I met this darling gentleman, Mr. Ian, and we had a ton of fun there, learned a lot, and it made some awesome relationships over the years. So since 2012, I traveled, I think it was about 4 years internationally, so it was a lot of work and a lot of fun, but I'm pretty excited with how it's all gone.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that we were saying, Paul and I, last week, everybody thinks it's really glamorous traveling globally. Yeah. everybody pulls that face. They'll go, what? Oh, yeah. It sounds like, yeah, I'm going here, I'm going there, but actually, it's inside of an airport, a hotel, you know, training center. You don't really get to see much of the place you're at, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could literally switch out whatever city it is, and it's like the same step by step by step. And even some of my customers in the salon, they're like, oh my gosh, you get to go to this city, even if it's in the United States. But when I go to other countries, they're like, you're going to have so much fun. I'm like, honestly, I'm jet lagged. By the time I get there, then I have to work within 36 hours for 18-hour days. It's a lot of work, and there are perks to it, as you know. Yeah. But it's not a holiday by any means.
No, not at all.
No, but it's
Paul's been vlogging about it. Paul.
Vlogging.
Yeah.
Oh, all the traveling.
You're the one that makes it look really glamorous. Make it look like, look at this, I got this, I get these gifts.
Well, yeah, so I've just changed. So my YouTube channel, I've been really struggling with for the past, I don't know, a few months. And the reason for it is the Paul Watts Hair YouTube channel, I want it to be all about hair, business, how-tos, all that sort of thing. But I love vlogging. I love showing people what we get up to. I do probably make it look a little bit too nice. So I've just launched today Paul Watts Vlogs, which is a new YouTube channel, which is going to go live soon. And that's going to be all the vlogs on there. So I can do something a little bit different. So I can still do what I love, but there's nothing conflicting. But yeah, the traveling, I love it, but it's like, tiring.
Yes.
Yeah. Like you walk into the training center and you meet everybody, and everyone is so friendly and everyone's buzzing to meet you and just get on with the day. And if you've got all your like delegates there who want to be trained by you, they're all like buzzing, and there's just really cool vibe that takes you all the way through the day. And then Ian, the taxi back to the airport, me and Ian often we'll talk and talk and talk, but
it's all the best ideas come then, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what we find. It's like, do you travel on your own, Chad, mostly, or do you travel with other Joico artists?
So 9 times out of 10, we travel to a city by ourselves. And then, you know, if we have an airport ride back, you know, to fly off, more than likely that's how it happens. Usually 2 or 3 of us will get together and ride back to the airport. But here in Dallas, there is myself and one other person that's a same tier as me that would travel as much as me. But she does more regional things where I kind of just go all over the country.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a travel buddy per se. Okay. And I'm not one of these people who takes my other half with me on all these events because I mean, it's cool, but literally they're going to be doing everything on their own.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing my own thing working. It's, for example, my partner, he works for a contact lens company and he's in the international division as well. So he travels, you know, 10, 14, 16 days sometimes, which is awesome, but it doesn't help me. I wouldn't get to see him if I wanted to go. So
yeah.
On last night, actually, I took my lenses out to put my glasses on, just because you reminded me. And I've been with Lisa, my fiance, for 3 years. And she said, I've never looked through your glasses. And I said, all right, have a look. And she was like, wow. You mean you really can't see when I show you stuff? I said, no, if I haven't got these on, I really can't see. She's like, wow, this is like insane. First time in 3 years, she realized that, yeah, I'm probably quite blind. So that's a contact lens story. Yeah, that was only last night that happened. That was mad.
And she's still getting ready to marry you.
Yeah,
despite your blindness.
She's going to be my surrogate a blind dog. I'll catch her in her arm and she can lead me around, you know?
Oh my God, that's hysterical. Don't tell her that one either.
No. Well, I'm marrying well, actually, because she's like 20 years my junior, which is really cool. And she's also a medic. She's a doctor. So she can actually like look after me in my old age. I'm set. There's no care homes. I'm sorted.
I can't with you. I just cannot. This is literally what Australia was like for 5 days. This sort of like silly banter, just the sharpness. And that's why I love our team no matter where we are. We have these awesome technologies nowadays where we can stay in touch. So I'm super grateful to you guys for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
Mate,
but yeah.
And this is what we were saying, like, the beauty of this is, like, if we were to come and work in America, or you were to come to Europe or anywhere, like, we would never have an hour to just sit down. We'd probably have 20 minutes to eat, go get changed, go and work, and then you've just got to either network or get ready for the next day. So having like a full-on hour and a bit more just to chat is such a luxury now.
Yeah, and it's made a big difference. We're connecting with everybody across the states or wherever, and it's been phenomenal, to be honest. We learned a lot. So, Chad, I know that you are a red hair-aholic, but and you love your dimensional blondes.
Yes.
So let's talk about the market that you're in. Tell us about the type of salon you work in, how it's set up. Are you employed? Are you rent a booth, or tell me how, and then how many days you work. Give us your salon theory thing, how it feels for your philosophy.
Yeah. So I work in a salon called the Michael Flores Salon, and it's located in downtown Dallas. For those of you that have never been down there, downtown Dallas is not like your stereotypical downtown. It's a little bit more on the quieter side. It's a little bit more residential. Demographic is, I'd say, in the 30s to 40s. So it's a little bit of a younger demographic for where we are. And I work inside of a department store. It's a luxury brand one called Neiman Marcus. You may have heard of it, you may have not, but it's super high end. And the store I'm located in is store number 1. So it's like the foundational store of all the other stores. So it's been an awesome time working there. We definitely get more of that type of clientele, like the Neiman Marcus clientele. So they are a little bit higher end. We pull from other neighborhoods that have a lot more money in it versus, the 30s and 40s income that may be a little bit lower. So I've had an awesome time. I've been there since 2015.
Wow.
And 5 years. And God, that's gone by quick. And it's a commission-based salon. So here in the US, there's a lot of booth rentals or salon suites, which I think is awesome. But for me personally, I've always enjoyed working in a commission-based salon because I don't want to have to worry about doing any of the inventory, ordering, taxes, paying all that. I want somebody to do all that, and I collect a paycheck and I go home. That's just me. I can manage my own business per se with the business ideas, but when it comes to the bookkeeping and all that stuff, I know it's not my forte. So I'd rather have somebody else do that, and they kind of get paid for it. So that's how I look at it. The salon I work in has 16 chairs, but we currently only have, I think, 6 of them filled. And it's a strategic purpose. It actually kind of works out well right now, but the layout of the salon, it's a very loud salon if there's actually 16 people. You guys know Larissa Love, right?
Yeah.
She recently, I think it was about this time 2 years ago, her and a few other people, they came to our salon to launch Defy Damage to the Dallas market, but before it was like actually being launched out to the world. So it was more for all the sales reps and everything, and it was myself, Larissa, and then 3 other people working in this small room of 5 stations. And it was just so loud with the blow dryers and people talking that I literally couldn't speak to my client or my model because it was just so loud. Yeah. So that's just 5 stations out of 16. So wow. Having only 6 people, we could probably max out at 8 for acoustic purposes. That it's actually okay for us, and we can, carry the rent and all that stuff. But the interesting thing is right now with the whole COVID-19 situation, I have 2 chairs that I kind of bounce between, but all of the chairs and all the separate rooms that we have that we can literally put 1 stylist and 1 client or guest, in that area, and we're completely are 6 feet apart, social distancing, and all that good stuff. So right now, I'm really happy to be in a salon that's not jam-packed with stylists.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things which is, again, in the UK, it's the unknown for us. We're looking to America, we're looking to Italy, to Spain, to Germany, to try and figure out some sort of plan that we could put in place so we could, I don't know, prepare. But that's one of the things with having the social distancing. If you haven't got a big salon, well, there's going to be a little bit of an issue when it comes to reopening.
Yeah, so it's funny because we actually haven't come up to any situations yet. So funny story for here in Texas. So originally they said that we could open up on May 18th. And on May 5th, they actually came, the governor, and said, surprise, you guys can open on May 8th. So 10 days shorter than what we were expecting. And now we only have 3 days to get ready. So we were like, what are we gonna do? So the salon owner, I hadn't known at that point, but before any of this was announced, he actually decided, we're not gonna open on May 18th. We're gonna wait until June 1st, just to see how all these peaks and valleys, if anything,
really wise.
Regurgitate. So now it bought us 3 weeks versus 2 weeks. But on the same token, I'm in the back corner because I get super paranoid. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. I'm like, I'm gonna lose all of my clients. They're gonna go somewhere else. They're gonna have FOMO. They want their hair done. I can tell you, 70% of them are holding on tight and waiting for us.
Yeah.
But this is where the tricky part comes. My salon being inside that department store, the department store hasn't reopened yet.
Oh, no
We're
way.
supposed to be going back 1 week from today. So we are still trying to figure out how we're going to get our clients into the salon where it's closed. We're located on the 6th floor, so there's only one way in, one way out. Wow. We don't know what we're going to do. So we're praying that the store will give us like some magical clearance, but yeah, I don't know if I'm going back to work next Monday.
Wow.
So it's scary.
Yeah, yeah. And do you get a lot of assistance in the US if you're off? Have the government or the state, are they helping you at all financially, or you just every man for himself?
So they do have like a little extra stimulus for those that are collecting unemployment right now. In my given situation, working in a commission-based salon where I'm an employee, I'm proud to say, I guess I am collecting unemployment. So during this process, I'm not, scrambling to, go paycheck to paycheck, but the extra stimulus that they're adding on to it has helped me out personally. So I feel very fortunate at this time, but not everyone's, able to collect unemployment at this time.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, similar, very similar here as well, Ian, isn't it? Like some salons are getting grants, and some people aren't being helped at all, which is a shame. But some people are sort of topping it up with a different job. They're having to do either delivery or work in a different sector because they you can't do hair. That's just one thing. Like you've got these underground people who are trying to, which is absolutely ridiculous.
It's scary.
It's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. But yeah. So going back to the salon then. So the theme, is it a full Joico salon?
So our salon is full Joico. So we have, I'd say 85% of the retail, just because, well, we're going through the restage right now. So there's bits and pieces that are a little bit harder to come by.
Yeah, you're ahead of us there. You're ahead of us on the restage. So you're getting
the way.
Yeah.
So good. I mean, we had a sneak peek of it, of the new ranges. Well, not the new ranges, the old ranges redesigned. And they look good. They look very good. The bottles look so much more expensive, and
yeah, the brand looks it's the next level for the brand, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
I truly feel it is. I think we're taking it to the next level, which I feel like in any business you have to level up every couple of years. Personally, I try to level up at least once a year, and for me, leveling up is raising my prices. For other people, it's adding in new services. For companies, it's changing packaging, all these different things. So I think it is nice to see Joico leveling up and just taking it to the next stage. But we do carry all of the wet line, all of the permanent hair color within Vero K-Pack, the Demi Permanent, all of the lighteners. We carry Lumishine Permanent, Demi creams, liquids. We do have a couple other people in the salon that prefer other brands because that's what they grew up on. So
What?
we do have those.
What?
I'm trying to get rid of them.
Get them out. Get them out.
Wait, the brands or the people?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of both. No. There's just been so many clients that have been coming to that salon for so long that, and you guys know that if they know that something's changed, they're going to look for it. So there's a few things that we just kind of need to keep around just so, keep the business going. Yeah. Mind over matter half the time, I think it is, but that's okay. But I'd say I throughout the salon about 85% truly all Joico, and most people use it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So the reds thing, when I met you, you were definitely like the guy who knew everything about reds. You were like so thorough. You just like every bit of information, all the technical information. And I know how technical an artist you are. Yes. Where did that begin? Like, I mean, who gave you that foundation? And then the technical stuff, the people who influenced you along the way, who were they that actually get you where you are now, really, to give you those foundations?
So it's really funny, but going back to my good friend Kim Bonadio, she was a little bit of my inspiration for loving redheads, because if you've never met Kim, she's got this giant curly hairstyle in every direction. And at the time, she would always wear almost kind of like the color of this orange banner. For those of you that have been around with Joico for a hot minute, her color was pretty much like 7FOR, like 7 fashion orange, like bright orange. And so I was always intrigued by it. I was always picking her brain about it, about what she was using. As we age, we all get a little bit grayer. So I was always intrigued about, well, why isn't it getting it more electric? What are you doing? So she started me down that path, but I've always been drawn to bright red or soft reds or auburns, and just trying to figure out the nuances behind them, because with any color line, we know that there's going to be nuances of what this red does and what this red does. I always hate seeing the pink reds, and sometimes when you use a copper, it might turn a little pinky. So I'm like, how do I fix that? So for me, brunettes are kind of easier. So I'm like, I get that. I don't need to specialize in that. I feel like there's so many more variations of reds that I like to toy around with, especially mixing my warms and my cools, whether it's on the same head and the same bowl. I just find it's a little bit more exciting for me.
Yeah, cool. And then obviously you've gone to the dimensional blondes now, which is like a big market in Dallas, I imagine, yeah?
Have you heard of a Dallas blonde before? They love their blonde hair down here. But it's interesting because I feel like in any market, there's always going to be some really good blondes and some really bad blondes. But the same could be said for brunettes, redheads, fashion colors. It's more of the technique and the person doing it. So for me, I like to get rid of the stereotype of what a Dallas blonde is. Is it a lived-in blonde? Is it a multi-dimensional? Is it a double process? Is it, just what is it? So for me, I personally I like to work with people's natural hair. I don't always like to eradicate it all. So that's why I like multi-dimensional. I feel like anybody can put a single process color on, lift it, and walk away. I feel like dimensional blondes, they just grow out nicer. They can work with people's natural graying patterns. So for me, it's all about that.
Yeah. Paul, you have almost the same philosophy, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I had to do a webinar, I wanted to. I did a webinar recently for Joico on the reds and how, like, my infatuation with reds, coppers, and that sort of thing started really early, because I was always really intrigued into why some brands could get the vibrancy and the tone along with the depth. And I didn't understand, well, the research I did, and then when with Joico, the powerhouse reds come in, the J5, and all of that was sort of unleashed. It's like, oh my God, it makes so much sense that, I mean, we don't know that somebody owns a pigment or a pattern on a color, and trying to explain that to clients, like, well, I mean, going into like box dyes, you've got like the vibrant reds. It's like, yeah, I know, but like, what the hell is in there? When it comes to professional color, the formulation of these colors to create the vibrancy, it needed something else that one brand owned. And when it comes down to really looking into the makeup and formulation of color, that's what really intrigues me. I
love that.
Yeah. But that explains a lot, because obviously you're like Chad. I've known Paul for like 2 years now, and he's always been like the techie guy, and I mean like the actual hardware techie guy. He knows about phones, cameras, the best microphone, the best. He researches everything. But also, if you take that techie guy and put him into the salon, he's a techie guy in the salon. Everything he does is like deliberate, is thought out, this kind of like everything's planned, and he investigates and wants to know how it works. And you came up, Paul, with the makeup highlighting negative space thing.
Yeah. So something I just did recently was the 3V collection. I don't know if you've seen it, and I've seen like so many people do contour color, and you can do contour color with any color, but I become obsessed with it because the actual technique and structure that girls put it onto their face. There's actually like a technique that they and a pattern they put onto their face to create that chiseled look. And then I was like, well, why can't we do that? Why can't we put that into hair rather than just call contour color because we're using a light and a dark? Why can't we actually explore it deeper? And that became my obsession for like 4 years, looking into makeup and why would they be using that particular palette, and why would they be using that highlighter with that contour? I can't do makeup at all. I don't know anything about makeup, but when I seen this contour color and people were just selling it as, well, this is a contour because there's a dark bit there, and then this is light, and that's the lightener. I was like, there's got to be more to it.
It's a little basic.
Yeah, a basic bit.
I mean, we're not any of that, but that's fine.
But he's like put this thing into like a palette, and like even down to his bowl now is like his color bowl has 4 sections, 4 colors, which he's then taking as you would with the makeup brush, and each one, and that's how we kind of. So for me, as a non-colorist, I understand color and I colored for years. But in the salon, it makes it more sense. I don't color because my ticket price for a haircut is more than the color, believe it or not. So I choose not to color. And when I saw that, it made me think it was oh my God, what is that? Show me again. Tell me about that again, because it meant so much. It was so made sense to me. I was so visual, and it's such a great story for customers, because customers love a story, right?
Exactly.
And it tells a great story about why I'm doing it. This is the reason. These are the colors. This is the result. I love that whole process that they go through, and I think Paul kind of like has come up with something unique. And I think there's loads of mileage in it, Paul, right?
Yeah. I mean, I'm on to the next thing now with looking at color trends and that sort of thing, and that's why I love getting colorists on, because I like looking at your Instagram and looking at you love blondes and reds. I love it because they're the two that are the most sought after, getting beautiful blondes and getting beautiful reds. But the way that you just described it, you're working with natural depth, you're working with natural color, you're creating that base that's going to complement them rather than going against the grain. And I think that's where you get really expensive looking color.
Yes, 100%. And
go on, sorry.
Okay, I was just going to go kind of jump back to what you were saying, Ian, like how it was so intriguing to you when you saw like those 4 different color bowls. I like to think of that too. Like when I come out from the dispensary and I've got 3, 4, 5 color bowls side by side, and people are like,
"Yeah,
what the hell is this?" I'm like creating this specifically for you. It's not going to be a one-shop trick. Like this is specifically for you. And I think when we make it more about them, like I'm creating this specifically and tailoring it for you, that's when it's, even if it was the most basic of a thing, like they know it's specifically contoured for them. So I think that's, where the magic comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And that's the selling point, where they think, oh, if I'm looking at another salon or looking maybe at going somewhere else, it's like, and if they did, and they brought out 1 bowl or 2 bowls, it's like, oh, I had 5 last time. Like, oh, you don't need 5. It's like, well, I do, because I love my hair. And
exactly.
I think that's where the real magic, and with colouring, I mean, cutting as well. When you really bespoke, beautifully cut hair, It's all the same. It's all the same bag, and I suppose that's why we do what we do. Why we are on the platform that we do. We've gone through the audition process. We've gone through the process of growth, and now we're in a position of givers, I suppose. And I think that's what we meet with all the Joico family. Is that everybody will give and give and give
ridiculously, which is amazing. Yeah.
And have you found that throughout, you know, obviously the various states, but have you found that throughout all of the countries you've visited as well, Chad, that the Joico family is very strong, you know, in the way it shares, the way that it supports, and all those things?
Yeah. So from my experience, I've been to, I think, 7 countries at this point, including the US. And it's really interesting because a lot of the countries outside of here really are team focused, and they are all hands on deck, and they will work 99 hours a day if possible. So that's super exciting to see. And I'm like a brand new stranger walking, and they're just all appreciative of anything that we can give them and share with them, because, you know, over the past 5-10 years, technology has shifted so much where things are a lot more easily readily available versus, you know, way back then. But even just to see somebody that you may have never seen before, it's a great opportunity just to pick brains. So working with the Joico teams across the world has been great, but also working just with the domestic teams. It's interesting because I think there's around 300 of us domestically that I get to see and work with throughout all my years here. So it's really cool just to pick their brains.
Cool. That's really good. That was a great comment actually there, Paul, from Laura. Love that. And Laura's probably one of the most loyal people that watch nearly everything we do. And I know Laura. She's up in Hungerford, and she works in a great little salon, and she's a phenomenal hairdresser, and she's a great team leader for that team as well. She's very inspiring to them. I know that. So I always enjoy her comments. But if anybody else has any comments, if they think we've missed anything, then please add the comments, as Paul's saying. Just any questions to Chad or for Paul, myself, just put them in the question. We'll get back to you straight away. I can see that Lewis Moore is there as well, and Jill Berry, and I think Jill Berry's due to come on with us soon as well. That's going to be.
I love Jill Berry.
Yeah. So
oh my gosh, can I tell you funny stories about Jill Berry?
Please go on. Yes. Yes. Come on.
I really don't have any funny stories, but so it's just a nice little segue. But so I work in the salon 5 days a week, Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6, 11 to 7, Tuesday to Saturday. So I'm just like every other hairdresser out there. Like, I am behind the chair. I see everything you guys do. I also work for Joico as an educator. So I travel teaching, inspiring, which is super awesome. But one of the things that truly feeds my soul is, sorry, Jill, I'm not going to tell you anything yet. One of the things that really feeds my soul is I like to do artistic things also. So one of my big things is I love to enter into photo shoot contests that are hair based. So I've been doing this since around 2011. Probably, I think it's been the last 3 or 4 years. I actually have been traveling over to London to work with a photographer. His name is John Rawson. I'm sure a lot of you over in Europe know of him. Yep. Fantastic guy. And every time I go over there, I actually work at Jill's salon to do all of my model prep. And one of her other people.
Working with Jack and Jill.
Yeah. So I work with Jack Spencer a ton every time I'm over there. And he's just the cutest little thing. He's 100% ready to go, and always that kid is so awesome. And I'm just so grateful that every time I've been over there that Jill's been like, oh, come on in, use my space, that's totally fine, just leave it clean. I'm like, duh, that's what we do, if not cleaner than what it originally was. But so I'm super grateful to Jill for allowing me to use her space, and that's my story. It's not that bad.
You've stolen my story actually, because you were telling about you work with John, and actually I worked with John several times. He's a great photographer, and he works with Paul Gill, who's his assistant. But I've also shot with Paul on his own as well, and I love working with both of them. Great guys, you know. But one of my questions is why do you choose to work with a British photographer and not work with like maybe somebody in America? Because I know you've been successful in the NAHA Awards, and you've been successful globally, and you've had success in Ireland, etc. Tell us a little bit about that and why you make the choice to work with a British photographer.
If I had to think about it, I would say there's two big reasons, maybe three. The first one, as we know, for anybody who's ever entered into a contest or done any sort of marketing materials, the hair can look great, that's one thing, but the models are what sell the hair. So for me, especially in these competitions, if it's just a cute girl, that's one thing. If she's just eccentric, that's awesome. I've always had a fascination for the female models in London. They just have an edge, a look. So I hate to say it, but I usually go over to London for the models. And John has his own niche. I can find any image of his and be like, John shot that. So there's just something about his photography that I'm like, you know what, this is awesome. And this is what I want part of my brand. It represents who I am. So in my artistic sense, I like John for his artwork, but I love London because of the models and their fashion. But let's be honest, whenever I do these photo shoots, I take usually 10 days there. And 4 of them, the first 2 are usually jet lag. Then I'll work for 4 days and then I take holiday after. And I love going over to England. It's one of my favorite places to go to for holidays. So that's usually one of my major reasons also to go over.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, because John is he's a detailed performer, isn't he? But he's also quite quick. So while you're working on a model, he's usually got it up on the screen. He knows that what's going on, and Paul's always keeping things ticking over. Because John can be badass sometimes, right?
I'm going to plead the fifth on everything, but I love him.
I'll say it. He can be bad. I know Lewis works with him quite a lot as well. So he's done a lot. So I know Lewis won in, I think, 2015, I think he was BHA. Lewis has won 2 actually. Two. Cool. So he's been nominated 3 times, won twice, I think. And working with John, and John has a really great eye, and he builds a great team, and I understand that. So and I think I think you had an image which was what was it? I think yours was a moments thing, was it? You entered a single image, and how did that fare?
So that whole situation was with NAHA, which is the North American Hairstylist Awards, and that was this past year for 2019. So they decided last minute, I don't want to say decided, they announced last minute that they're going to have this brand new category called #NahaMoment, where you just submit one photo, not a collection of 3, not a collection of 5, just one photo. And the big thing was, it doesn't matter what category it represents. So it could have been cutting and styling, texture, avant-garde, hair color, whatever you wanted it to be. So I submitted, I think it was 3 or 4. Actually, it might have been more than that because it was different because they also did it on Instagram. So when you definitely put it out there, you had to hashtag it, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And then they announced it, I think it was 2 weeks before the actual ceremonies. And it's like, yay, I'm a finalist. Now I have to get myself to Los Angeles in 2 weeks and find a hotel room. Wow. So it was a small catch-22, and I get why they did it. It was really awesome, and that image is from John's most recent photo shoot with me of my redhead. It's the bob. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I managed to get the Fellowship Image of the Year in, I think, 2014-15 with John. With his image. It was really funny because I was actually, it's another Jill Berry story, because I was actually with Jill. We were on the Joico table. I was invited along I wasn't even going to go. I was like, I don't know if I want to go or not. And I turned up at the event, and me and Jill were chatting and everything. And they said, oh, we got these awards. There's this image of the year thing. I was sitting there, and I kind of like turned around and we looked, who's in? And the nominees are, and my name was in there. I was like, what? Nobody. I genuinely didn't know I was going to be in for it. Thanks, Jill. And it was like, I didn't even know he was going to be there. So and they called me up on stage to get it, and then they'd done this big thing with it all laminated and to take for the salon. And I was like, and Jill's like, did you know anything about that? I said, no. And the thing is, I wasn't going to come. It was like 2 days ago I decided to come. So you would have been picking up on my behalf, but I didn't even know I was going to do that. So it was really
But that's pretty awesome.
But John shot that for me as well. So I've worked with him a few times. Paul, over to you.
So yeah, talk about the competitions, because it's something that we touched on the first episode we did of this with David Murray.
Yeah.
And he was talking about his inspirations and all that sort of thing, and how he won, what did he enter, why did he enter, and he's from Ireland. So tell us a bit about that, because we know you were a 7 times winner.
Yes.
So yeah, let's find out.
So it's funny, my whole path of how I actually started to getting into competitions, it's interesting because Joico actually here in the US and Canada, they had a very small competition it was called Shoot to Win, and the grand prize was going to be a photo shoot with Damien Carney. And what the contest was, you had to submit a photo shoot collection that you do with one model, 3 different images, with a before and after, and they would give you this prize. And for the US, I won. So it was like, yay, this is kind of cool. Now, it was my second photo shoot I had ever done. I was used to being behind the chair. I was like, I didn't understand anything about behind the camera. So it was a little bit interesting. And for me, when I had that photo shoot with Damien, I was scared shitless. I don't know if I can swear on camera, but I just did. And it's not like he's a bad person, a mean person or anything. I was just over my head. I didn't know what I got myself into. He's an amazing hair cutter, amazing photographer. I was just like, what is happening right now? I don't know. So we do the photo shoot. There's me and a couple other people doing the shoot, and we entered it into NAHA, and 6 months later, I became a finalist. And it was like, this is normal, completely normal for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Apparently not. So went to NAHA, I ended up winning, and I was just turned 30 years old. So I was super excited about that. So from there, I was bitten by the bug. Now, photo shoots, competitions, they're not for everybody. For me, it's just a way of expressing my artistic ability. I love what I do behind the chair every day, but what I do behind the camera, I don't want to do that in a salon every day.
No,
it's way too much work, and I enjoy it, but I want to keep it as a hobby.
Yeah.
And not everyone understands that. And let's be honest, it's a big expense. So to do these photo shoots can run thousands of dollars if you want to, take it to certain levels. But competitions for me, I've always been a super competitive person. Growing up, I played tons of sports. I actually, I was a cheerleader, a little stereotypical. But my senior year of high school, I actually got to fly out to Hawaii and be one of the 500 kids that were in the halftime show for the Pro Bowl back in 2000.
Wow.
So I mean, and I had to get myself out there. So I've always been a super competitive person. So for me, I was like, okay, this is my profession, but how do I compete against all the others? So for me, that's kind of where I went.
Before you answer that next question, Lisa, my fiance, she loves cheerleading, and she did it herself in uni when she was in uni. And on Netflix, there's a documentary series called Cheer.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And it's amazing, actually. The athleticism, the fitness you have to have to do that stuff, and almost get killed.
Yeah, there's one on Netflix. The name is escaping me right now, but it's also shot down here right outside of Dallas. When I think of the name of it, I'll shout it out. But it's pretty interesting with the Navarro cheer team. It's a workout.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I mean, the throw-in and the flips and everything is full on, full body.
Yeah. And literally, you do all this stuff for a 2.5 minute competition. Same thing with photo shoot competitions. You put all this time, energy, money into it for 90 seconds potentially on stage.
Yeah.
Whether or not anything comes of it, great. If it does, you're remembered for a year. So.
Yeah, and touching on that as well, one thing I do with my team. So with competitions, I used to do them when I first opened, and I did them every year. And the past, I think 2 years, 3 years, I've sort of tailed off a little bit and invested my time in education and trying to grow my brand. But I've always had the viewpoint of, when you look at a competition, I give the Brit Awards as an example. So you go back to, say, 2009, and you say, who won it? And you're like, well, I don't know. It's like, but who was nominated? You could probably pick the songs that were probably nominated back then. So it's not so much about the winning. It's about like that nomination for I mean, obviously the winning is good, the cherry on the cake.
Exactly.
But just having that the nomination to be announced among your peers that you're at that level, I think is a great feat in itself. And it's not all about the winning; it's about what you learn from the actual experience as well.
Exactly, 1,000%. You know, it's not always about the end destination; it's about the journey to it.
Yeah.
To kind of say what you're saying, and I agree 1,000%, and that's why it's a lot of work going up to it. And you know, to get that nomination, it's a great moment, and I'm thankful for, you know, the jury or the deliberators that have decided that.
Yeah.
But typically these things change year to year. So what they liked last year, they might not even be on that board to select you the next year. So I take it with a small grain of salt. I'm very humble and thankful for the opportunity, but what's hot now is not going to be hot next time. So
yeah, I think going back to what you're saying, actually, you said your first shoot was with Damien. You won the prize. I mean, I've worked with Damien a few times, like probably maybe a dozen times or more, and he's like a genius, right? He just had magic hands, and I learned so much from him. He was the guy that sort of said that he's coined the phrase that, oh, stop flower arranging. Do you know when you start doing this with the hair, and he says, stop flower arranging. If you don't like it, you just do this and start again.
Start over.
And like, and then you do an image and you think, oh, that's really cool. And then Damien would just go, and you just go, what? How did he do that? He was just like, he could change things literally just by manipulating them. And I've learned, you know, and luckily I worked with him for about 3 years, and I learned so much in that time from him of how to be not so precious, you know, to pull and to try, and don't be afraid to change it, and you know, really get involved. And if it's not right, well, just rough it all up, start again,
start over. You know? Exactly.
I love that he had that openness, and he was just magic. He was so easy, made it look so easy. You know, he's a great guy, and you know, luckily to work with those type of caliber of people has been phenomenal, really. So, there's a question there for you from go on. What do you what's next for Chad?
So what's next? So during this coronacation, as I'm coining the term right now, where I've been out of work for 10 weeks, I actually started on the back end of my business. I joined a business coaching group. So I've actually been working on the back end of my business and just trying to strengthen that up for when we actually do go back. So I've focused a lot of energy, time, finances into that. Not knowing what the world of travel is going to be looking like coming up anytime soon, I've decided to put a short halt on doing any photo shoots. Right now, I would love to shoot with John. I keep talking about him. I know he's trying to come over here to the States in August-ish. So if I can shoot with him here, I'd love to. If I can find models, like I said, it's all about the models at the end of the day. So if I can do that, I'm going to try to swing that. But at this stage, I'm trying to focus a little bit more on just growing my business on the back end. And yeah, I'm trying to give myself another raise, 2 more raises this year, hopefully.
Cool.
There's no pressure. We've just been joined by Bruno, who's like 5 times winner of BHA, Team of the Year, like International Artist of the Year. So
he sounds basic.
It sounds basic, yeah.
So basic.
Actually, if you meet Bruno, he's like the most normal person you could ever meet. He's not like, you would never say that, you know, he just goes and does his thing.
Yeah.
You know, and he does it really well. That's the whole thing with him and his team, and they've won every accolade you can imagine, you know.
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, you know, you name it.
So, he's just put 7 times.
7 times, yeah. So, yeah.
Hey, I've won 7 times too. We should become friends.
But Bruno's coming on here as well in 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Bruno's here 2 weeks, yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
he's just typical Bruno. He's scoping out the competition.
Hey, that's okay.
He's really competitive. He says he's not, but he's really competitive.
I admit I am. So, yeah. But it's funny because I actually. One of my little mantras that I've been living with for the past couple of years is you have to surround yourself with the people that you want to be like. Yeah. So I've been definitely doing that a lot more lately and trying to I don't want to say distancing myself from people that aren't necessarily like-minded, but I want to be around the caliber of people that I want to live up to.
Definitely.
I don't necessarily want to be like the weakest one, but I also want to have those people that want to be like me around me. So, having Bruno show up here, I'm like, hey, let's be friends.
Yeah.
I think
I'm on Instagram, right here.
Dale Carnegie said, show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
Exactly.
So, and they said that, and I can't remember who else said, but if you look at the 6 people that you spend the most time with, then again, you'll see your own future, because unless they're people who are extending you, or they're people that are above where you are, and you're not stretching yourself, then you're not really go. That's kind of what you have to strive for.
100%.
So what else would you like to go on about? Tell us about. You left one out, you say.
Yeah, funny story. So my headphone went out, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. Can
you?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
We can hear you, definitely. Yeah. Just now you can just so you come in. We got like 9 minutes anyway, so you're good for time. So
perfect. So I don't know. What else do you guys want?
Any questions from anybody? So if anybody's got any questions, we know that America are going back state by state with the whole lockdown thing. So if anyone's got any questions to ask Chad, get them into us if you want to hear anything else. But yeah, I mean, we were just talking about the circles, and this is something we also talk about a lot. When like the older you get and the more, I don't know, like when you level up, you were saying you level up, your circle gets smaller and smaller and smaller until you're left with that core group of people. And then you then lose a couple along the way, and then you get like me and Ian. Like,
yeah,
we just linked up, and it's like, right, we talk nearly every day now.
Yeah,
and that's the journey.
I got to say to that Paul said you level up and you get smaller. I think mine was already down to 1, so mine's actually getting bigger. I think I just ran out of people. So like, yeah, but we speak every day, and actually, if I hadn't met Paul, he's totally reinvigorated my whole thought process of business and hairdressing and the whole thing. It's totally changed me. It's also given me a bit of confidence to do this type of thing, which I wouldn't have done before. And I really enjoy it. And like we speak every day, Paul, pretty much, don't we, on some project or other?
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. I mean, we talk about this and
you can mention age. You can mention age. I won't be offended. You can say about age.
Well, no, I'm not going to say your age, but this is the thing where it's like we're 2 generations coming together.
Yes.
But we talk about this every time because we are, and I think that's what's so incredible about our industry is the clients we meet, the educators, the artists, all along. We've all done our own journey, or we've all sort of, it's stepping stone. We're trying to get to the next level, or if there's people already there that you admire, then just being able to call people your friends who have really been there, done that, got the T-shirt sort of thing. It's incredible.
Oh, good question from Laura.
So are you starting with this now? So the way that, so our salon, we have not reopened yet. We are reopening on June 1st, fingers crossed. If you want to hear that story, wait until the replay and rewind from the beginning.
Yes. This is last professionalism. Look at that.
But what we're doing as far as rebooking goes is we went through and we went back to our first day that we closed, which was March 18th. And we started contacting those people because if you think about it, they were the ones that had waited, 6, 8, 12 weeks already for that appointment. So they've been, out of having good hair for that much longer. So we contacted them first and worked our way forward. One of my other big things this time, because this has like been an awesome almost reset. Have you guys noticed? Well, you guys will notice this. It's like a hard reset. Like I fired a few clients that I didn't want. They didn't meet my target market anymore. I'm building my circle of friends and sorry, they're not what I want in my circle. I don't want to be around them anymore.
2 generations. So, I think she means we skipped one. What she's saying there is it's not just
maybe I'm the missing generation.
Look, you fit perfectly.
So between firing clients, I'm now starting to get more of the people that were on my waiting list in sooner, but also getting those people who are going to my Instagram account and seeing all the redheads and blondes that I do that want to be part of my circle and my tribe. I'm now able to get them back into it. So for me, this like process of having a hard reset and starting from March 18th and rebooking people, I hate to say it, it's been a nice thing for getting my ideal clients back into the salon.
Yeah,
but
I think,
on the same token, I've gone for the tickets that are a little bit more expensive.
yeah, I think that one of the things you're saying there is that, you know, your tribe, and we said a couple of weeks ago, and we've said it consistently through all of these, is that, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. Exactly. And what you're about, what you put out, you know, they're the people who are going to come into you. So this is a really good thing. And, you know, for you to say that, like, it's like, yeah, perfect. That's music to my ears, because people don't get that. You get a lot of people a bit miserable or a bit whatever. Step to and send, thanks, Lewis. I hate him sometimes. Lewis is a very, very good friend of mine. One of my best friends, actually. But sometimes I hate him. I'm going to actually, we're going to get Lewis on here, and I'm going to open it with Moto. Only Lewis will know what that means, Moto. So he's on thin ice if he's having a go at me. But yeah, I think that, you know, the things you do is attract the right people. And we've said it consistently, Paul and I, is that, you know, I think the thing with me and Paul is that Paul is such an open character, so gives everything, doesn't hold any information back.
No, nothing.
So it kind of made me feel like, and that's the way I operate as well. And I was a bit suspicious in the beginning. Is this guy really what he is? But once you get to know him, he's like, yeah, this is what it is. And I think that's why we connected so easily, because we both give away so much stuff, you know. And I think, again, you know, like it was a real honesty to it and authenticity, and I think that's so important. You know,
100%.
Whether it be your friends, clients, colleagues, I think it all has to synchronize together that way. So, is there any more questions out there apart from step to and send? So
that's it. Jill just she liked it, but that is it. I'll check on other socials, but I think that is them all.
That's excellent. Listen, Chad, it's been a long. I always can connect with you on social media, but it's the first time face to face for a while, and it's always great to hear your opinions and a great catch
as well.
What's that, Paul?
Yeah, no, lovely to meet, because I've literally been with Joico coming up 2 years. I started last January, and I'm literally meeting everybody for the first time, and it's incredible.
It's a great way to do it. I mean, who knows when you're actually going to have the opportunity to do, you know, something like this where we actually have time to do it. So it's a great way to use the time, get to meet new people, experience new people, and, you know, actually, because I feel like sometimes social media, we don't actually see the real person. We see what they want us to see. Yeah, so this is a great way to actually interact and see the person, not the name.
I have one question remaining. It has nothing to do with hair. Have you been to Dealey Plaza?
No.
No way. Is it far from where you are?
What is it?
Dealey Plaza, where Kennedy was assassinated, and the Texas.
Oh,
that was in Dallas, right?
Yeah. So
Dealey Plaza, the book.
So I don't know the name of the place, but I literally drive over the 2 shot spots. Like, they have giant X's on the street. I drive down that street every day in order to go home.
Seriously,
like,
I love
it's
that.
It's literally in downtown Dallas, and I work, I think, like 5 blocks from there, so it's not far at all. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So that's Dealey Plaza. So I needed to know that. I'm a big kind of like conspiracy theorist when it comes to JFK.
I love that you know more American history than I do.
What can I say? So the one thing is, Paul and I are definitely working on something at the moment, which we kind of like, it's a work in progress, and we would definitely love to include you in the future. Would you be? Yeah, it'd be great to connect, but it'll be slightly different to this. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay, I'll see. Only if Bruno's going to be there.
Yeah, we may have to do that, actually. You don't know how close you are to the truth. We are working on some stuff, and it's kind of like, hopefully it's definitely going to happen, but it's kind of, we're putting meat on a bone at the moment. So it's a new project working on, and definitely cool. It's quite cool, Paul, isn't it?
Yeah. mate, it's very exciting.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know, people say that, that's like, oh, it's a teaser, but it really is. We like talk about it every day, and it's growing and growing. And momentum is, we're starting to get momentum, and we're starting to get the things but we can't say what it is yet, because it's going to be like, for us, it's massive. So it's kind of something but we'd love to include you in the future.
Yeah.
Well, you guys know where I am. You guys have my social media, obviously. So stalk me, love me, feed me, give me money, bathe me. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. I'm a glutton for punishment.
Yeah. Jill, you've got to put that up. Jill says Ian knows everything. Yeah. So that was great to speak. It's great to speak to you, Chad, as always. Thanks very much. So it was
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you, mate.
Likewise.
All the best. Bye.
See you guys later.
Yeah.